Hello, today in this video I'm going to talk about crochet. Not how to do it, but crochet. The essential equipment you will need for crochet. So to start your crochet, always start off like this. Now I understand that I have a pattern here which used a 5mm hook, and it's the V-stitch pattern. Anyway, this is my cotton crochet. It could be a washcloth, it could be a dishcloth, it could be a coaster so your table don't get wet. It could be a hot pad so you don't burn the table if the table doesn't have a hot pad protection on it. Anyways, we're going to work with a 5mm hook. 5mm hook. Someday you will learn this pattern quick and easy. This one is my coaster, Mickey Mouse. That's done in the round. So someday you will learn continuous round and joined round. There's a difference. Continuous, you see nothing but slip stitches and they're all stuck together. Joint rounds are like chain 3 and then you double crochet all the way around. And the chain 3 becomes part of the double crochet. But then you can see it like through the thing. It starts in the middle and it goes straight up this way or straight off to one side or whatever. Anyhow, I'll teach you about circles later on. There'll be videos about that, videos about how to use this yarn and do the stitches that I'm about to go mention to you. I have some charts on stitches. This right now is a worsted weight yarn. It's a number 4, so you'll want to use that with a 5mm hook. Worsted weight yarn. Over here I want to show you a chart. This chart, in fact, shows a bunch of things like this is US sizes, and these are the millimeters. So you may have hooks that have just the letter or just the number. Your most important thing to remember is letter H, 5mm, or I, 5.5mm, are what beginners start with, so they get used to the hook hold, the hook size, the hook everything. Remember this, hooks get smaller in head and smaller in the handle as you use them, aluminum or plastic. If you decide your hands hurt, you might want to get aerodynamics, things with rubber on them, or put your own clay on the back and make your own. There's videos on that. Here's some yarn sizes, like 4 medium worsted weight. This worsted weight, by the way, is 5, 5.5, 6. It varies depending. Bulky yarn uses these. Super bulky uses those two. These two can be used with this, but these two can also be used with this. So, and then this can be used with that. So it depends on this. You can go into here, but it depends on a lot of variations. So you also want to know about is US versus UK. The chain, the slip stitch and stuff, you want to know if the US version of it is also UK, because if you get a pattern, they may say, for example, double crochet, but then look over here, double crochet is really a single. How to do a single crochet? You take the hook, put it through the stitch or space, you wrap the yarn and you pull up back through the stitch or space the loop that you just made. You have 2 loops on the hook. Wrap your yarn, pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. If you see that and they're calling it a double crochet, it's UK, which means you have to cross out the UK double crochets and call them single to turn the pattern from UK to US. Because there'll be a lot of free patterns that are UK, but will confuse you. If they say treble crochet, but they're doing a double is wrap the yarn once, put it through the stitch or space, wrap the yarn, pull back through. you see 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn, pull through 2 loops, wrap the yarn, pull through 2 more loops. That there is now a double crochet called a treble. You're doing UK. You better change the pattern if you don't understand UK and you're from the US into this way. Otherwise, you'll be totally confused. Forget that other thing over there. We're going to talk about this. A single crochet uses a chain 1. When you chain 1, you also work your single crochet in the same space as the chain 1. If you're doing half double, you chain 2, and then you work the half double in the next chain over 1. Same thing with chain 3, becomes double crochet, and you double crochet in the next to this. So chain 1, you work single into the same area. This one, you work in the next one after the chain 2, chain 3, the next one after. Same thing with 4, 5, 6. And so you can see here, I've made a bunch of charts to help protect myself from forgetting any of these things. You can do that too, but you can also find them online. All right, now back to the table. So yes, you can find charts and diagrams and things online. There's also something called symbol crochet, where it shows you what the symbols look like. I didn't create a diagram for myself for that yet. But if you see like a circle, oval, an oval shape, it's a chain. If you see a dot, it's single crochet. If you see a line going vertical with a horizontal line on the top, you know, then there's one with one in the middle, and there's one with diagonal line. Those are all symbols. Some are half double, double, you know, they make up for how we're going to crochet. If you want to learn how to read symbols, I will come up with a video on that later on. For now, this crochet, make sure you have a pair of scissors that are your own. Nobody else uses them. Make sure you have a bunch of crochet hooks so you can do different things. Make sure that whatever your crochet hook size is, like 5mm, you go looking for a pattern label on top of the yarn. The label on the yarn, there's like a that wraps around, will tell you what the yarn is, and that label will say like number 4 on it, worsted weight. That works with hook sizes from 4 to 5.5, generally speaking. So once you know that, you can learn how to crochet once you have all of the crochet essentials. Making sure that you understand that some hooks are Susan Bates and some are Boyce. If you have that problem, wondering what your crochet hook is, Susan Bates will be written on it. Boyce will be written on it. Other ones are generic, so they're not written. But the generic ones are not true to size. Just so you know, a lot of people don't know this. It's called knitting gauge. You can use it to check when you're knitting needles, because some knitting needles, the numbers rub off. So you'll want to stick your thing through wherever you think it would fit. See how the head fits here? We'll go this way. See how the head fits? So you'll want to know where it fits the most. So it fits really good in here, just from here down. So the head of the thing, you also want to know about crochet hooks, that there's like a head, a shaft, a handle, and all that based on the hook. Well, part of this gets a little skinnier, and some of it, and you can feel a little bump. In fact, on another crochet hook, I will show you something else. Okay, a 6. Here, we'll use a 6mm for now. See how this is thick, but then this part is thinner? This is the part where you would put it on here, so you know this is not good. So let's see. Right there, you'll want to use this part of the hook between this and that. That small part, don't use. That's the part you don't measure. You measure this part right here. So if it's not fitting, then that's not the hook size. So I'll go one more, and it should fit. So this says 6.5. So for the 6.5, right? Ready? Put it right on there. See how it fits between here and here? It fits. I didn't go all the way past this part because that part is not what matters. This is what matters. So you have the handle, you have the shaft, and then you have this hook thing. This is a voice, by the way. See how it says voice? There's also how this part looks. The voice looks like this, and Susan Bates looks a lot different. And if I can find a Susan Bates, I'll let you know. I'm going to... They're called inline and tapered. And by the way, voice is always going to be what they call tapered. As for Susan Bates, if I can find one, they're inline. So I gotta show you the difference between a tapered and an inline right now. Yeah. Back to our hooks. I found 2 of them. See how this is 5.5? Well, it also says Susan Bates on the back, right? Look at the head right here. How it's inline. See how it's an inline? See how the head comes up and then it gets fatter? The part where it starts to get fatter is the part you want to measure. So this is 5.5. So on here, there's a 5.5. Will this area fit? Oh, it's true to size, but not always. Some knitting needles are not true to size. Neither are some crochet hooks. So you want to always make sure that your crochet hook is true to size, because it might be a half a size bigger. Like this one is a 4mm. And this, see how it's inline? It's an inline, right. Find the 4mm and put it right here. Right, see how it fits perfectly? Susan Bates and Boyce are always going to be, in fact, the right actual size. And there's also this cutter on the end. You can use that to cut yarn with as well. If anytime you feel you need to cut your yarn off, you will just pull, and look at that. The yarn came off with just that. So sometimes you can get something like this, Knitter's Pride. Pretty awesome for a thing. There's something called gauge. Gauge is in the middle. Here, you put this down, and it will tell you if your swatch is going to be the right amount of stitches and stuff. I'm not real good with gauge, but if you follow most patterns, they're true to their gauge and everything. So I don't really use this as much. But if you make up your own, you're going to want to, if you make up your own. Back to the Bates Boyce. Let me find a 5.5 and a 4 or something like that to show you. Alrighty. Got the number 4. So for now, we're going to look at how these are different. Even though they both actually say 4mm. See how one has a US size and the other one don't? That's because this is a generic hook. So now what happens is you want to look at a tapered head and an inline head. So you'll see the difference between tapered. Inline goes in more. Tapered does not go in as much. So your yarn could snag on an inline with this tip the way it is. So I'd be careful when you crochet with inline. Some people love them. I prefer tapered. I've done both. They're okay. There's a 5mm Boyce. A 5.5, right? Okay. You see, that is inline, that's tapered. So you also want to look online for things to do with inline tapered hooks, the hook shaft and parts of a hook. You'll want to learn about them. So you want to have all this down pat before you crochet, what you're going to do, so you don't make the mistakes. As always, when crocheting, you'll want some other materials and things. You'll want what I call stitch markers, and you'll want to get clover because clover is flexible and bendable and will never break. As for buying cheap versions, they will break over time. So you can get this kit on Amazon. It's called Clover Crochet Hook Kit. These are really tiny, as you can see. There are different sizes. So there's that size. Then there's even smaller size. And the even smaller size comes in either red or green. So that's that. Then there's the mediums come in either pink or blue. And then the large come in either yellow or purple. So as you can see, there are 3 different sizes. Small, medium, large. In different colors that this package comes with. I like it because it's a case to hold everything. As I would say, buy one of these on Amazon and you'll be all set to both knit and crochet your work. And so, now that you know that about knitting, you should also know one last thing before you begin to knit or crochet. You'll want to use this in both knitting and crochet. It's called a tapestry needle. And the tapestry needle comes with a cool case. Some of them come with a cool case, which you could ultimately use if you needed to. I like it. I think it's cool. But anyways, this is a tapestry needle. Some are straight. This one is bented. This tapestry needle is bented for a reason, and I really like it. So I suggest you get a tapestry needle. Don't get plastic. The plastic ones could break. I prefer getting aluminum. The ones. Also, Clover. I like Clover brand stuff. So anything from Clover is really good brand. So having said that, now you know how to begin your crochet journey. You'll want to have all these tools with you at all times. You also want a special bag you can put your crochet stuff in. You'll also want to learn how to crochet a chain. That's coming up in another video. How to do the single, double, half double, treble, double treble, triple treble, quadruple treble will also be in videos, along with maybe short, simple patterns to get you started. Corner to corner, which is easy to do, the V-stitch, circular, crochet, and so on. I'll have videos on that. Thank you for understanding crochet. I hope that this video helps you in terms of beginning crochet.